I don't have to do anything here but look cute, right? There we go.
Well, I think we're live. So yes, you're looking very cute. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Amy and Steven. Hello, Amy. Hello, Steven.
Hello, everybody.
And I'm still having tech problems after a couple of days of trying to work this out. So hopefully I'm not going to time us out, but I will go and copy and paste some links and make this visible to everybody. In the meantime, please, Amy, tell me, where are you from? Why are we here today?
Where am I from? Oh my goodness. Well, I'm originally from Wisconsin, a really cold place. I know in Australia it's the middle of winter right now, but right now I live in Texas. So I live in Texas. I've lived here for 5 years. My husband and I were Air Force, and we retired from the U.S. military, and we now live in Texas, in San Antonio. And so we're coming to you all the way from San Antonio. And then, you know, we have Steven down here, who's my business partner in this Canton Fair Experience. And he's
Steven, where are you located?
I am in Seattle, Washington, home of Starbucks and Microsoft and a little company called Amazon.
You're close enough to everybody techie and everybody e-commerce. That's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it up there.
All right, so guys, tell me something about what you two are doing, what you two do when it comes to sourcing, because that's what we're here for today. I spoke to you a few days ago, Amy, and you blew my mind. So how about we try and do the same thing for our viewers today and see if we can blow their minds. You've got a whole lot of things to say about Canton, about sourcing from China, and you guys have been doing some wonderful things. Tell me something about that.
Well, wow. I will try to blow everyone's mind out there, but I know I'm an Amazon seller myself. I've been selling on Amazon since 2007. I'm an inventor, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a business coach. And let me tell you, when I invented a product, it was tough, right? Like I had this idea and I went out and I talked to like design firms and stuff because I didn't really know like how I was going to get it. You know, I could go to China, but that seemed really far away and, it seemed kind of complex. So I just started cold calling manufacturers and I started trying to figure out, I talked to one of these design firms, but they wanted to charge me like $30,000 just to get started. And I didn't have that kind of money. I just wanted to bring a product to market, right? I wanted to solve a problem for people. And so I started calling manufacturers and in the US, and sometimes they would hang up on me. And other times they would say, well, hey, you're going to want to prototype that. Or maybe you should call this person. Maybe you should look for this, And so I started figuring it out. I started figuring out how to take an idea and turn it into a product. And while I was doing that, I started sharing my journey online. And I was just doing it in this tiny little Facebook group that I started. There was just maybe 100 people in there in the beginning. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I just kept sharing whatever I learned, I would share, and since I love search engine optimization, I'm a big techie. I love listing optimization. I'm a total nerd for listings on Amazon. So I would share all of that. Every time I would learn something, I would learn it in a way that I could teach it. And my community just kept growing and growing and growing. And in the meantime, I launched my private label brand on Amazon, a whole line of products. And then I brought my product to market, my invention to market as well. So, I'm just kind of living the life here, figuring things out. And then this guy, Steven Selikoff, he's always out there in the Facebook groups and he's talking. He says all these really intelligent things. And, he's always talking about, well, I source my stuff at this margin, and he's telling the truth because he totally backs it up with knowledge. And you're like, okay, this guy's really intelligent. Well, before I knew it, I started getting clients from this Steven guy that I didn't even know, because people would ask him to mentor, and he'd say, I don't mentor, I don't coach, but go to Amy. So he would send these people to me. And, he would always post in my group pictures from Canton. And I was like, that's fascinating. That just seems so cool. I'm here on Alibaba, like messaging back and forth with suppliers, trying to get information. You guys know how that goes, right? You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to say the right things. You're trying to get the best prices. Well, anyway, Steven says, he's posting about Canton Fair. He's going back to China again to visit one of his factories, this and that. And he posts in Amazing at Home about it. And I said, hey, Steven, you should take me to Canton Fair. And he was like,
you just wanted,
okay.
You just wanted a holiday, didn't you?
And he was like, okay, I'll take you to Canton Fair. And I was like, really? Wait, we're going to China? Okay. And then I was like, all right. Well,
have I got a passport?
And then a bunch of people started chiming in saying, I want to go.
Yeah. People that had never been, some people that had been before, they started saying, well, we'll go with you. Like, I've always wanted to go and I trust you. I'll go with you. And so Steven and I get on the phone and we just, it's kind of like me and you, Calli, when we got on the phone and we were just talking about, oh man, just the struggles. Yeah. The struggle and, how you want to help people. And, so Steven has this background in retail and I have a background in e-commerce and inventing, and so does Steven. He invents products as well. But we were like, wouldn't it be great if we couldn't just take them to Canton and we could like actually teach them like how to do this for real, like how to do this for real. And so we started, I was in an RV on a camping trip and I wrote like 20 pages of just, if I had to teach someone this, of what I would do if I had to do it over again, here's what I would teach them. And I pass it to Steven and he adds like 90 pages to it. And I'm like, I think we could do this, Steven. So we come back together and we start meeting every week and we decide that we're going to do this beta and we're going to take entrepreneurs with us and we're going to turn this into a whole course, a 2-month-long course to fully prepare them. We didn't know if we could pull it off, but we did. Boy, did we. And we had 21 entrepreneurs come with us on our first trip to China. And it was just so awesome. So I want to, let Steven tell his side of the story a little bit about, maybe I, I'm making it sound cooler than it is, huh, Steven?
For warning, sometimes she has to muzzle me. Because I'm pretty opinionated. So I started being an entrepreneur years ago. I came into FBA October of 2006, 1 month after it was announced, with a weight loss product. And then soon found my way into Amazon vendor, which I fell in love with. But I've been doing products for a long time. My focus has always been on retail. To me, that was and still is a lot easier than Amazon, Amazon seller. And there are a lot more stores. I mean, first of all, to Americans, they think, wow, Amazon is huge, it's tremendous. It's 4.6% of the retail industry. So there's 96% that you're not touching yet. And once you get out of America,
most of it is brick and mortar, isn't it? Sorry?
Yeah. I remember when it wasn't that long ago that Amazon wasn't even selling to Australia. I had products where I had distributors constantly contacting me saying, we want to sell you in Australia. Can you send us a container? Because it wasn't available in Australia. And in January, we're looking to get into a chain called Woolworths in Australia. So retail is still very, very strong, but there is a commonality between retail and successful Amazon, and that comes down to product choice. And Amy and I are both very, very strong about that. There are a lot of people who talk really, big stories with photoshopped pictures on YouTube. And they all talk about Amazon and the Amazon method, and it's the Amazon platform and all the latest things about the Amazon platform. And no one's really talking about the product other than say, go out to these tools and research them.
Mm-hmm.
Amy and I focus on the product because if you have the right product to begin with, then you can sell it profitably for 7x or 10x multiplier. That puts money in your pocket. You're not talking about sales anymore. You're talking about profits. And if you start with that right product, you can sell it in retail. You can sell it on Amazon. You don't have to worry about launch programs and giveaways or PPC. You don't have to worry about, the changes in the algorithms because you are the product people are looking for. That's where we want to bring people to. And it doesn't have to be, anti-gravity sneakers that no one's ever invented before. I have products. I had pillowcases that we just had cute little sayings printed on that ended up in Bed Bath & Beyond, which is a big retailer here, just because no one had seen or done what we had done before. So it's a case of knowing your market, of validating your market, that people actually want to buy what it is you're selling, making sure that you've got the right price that people have a value to, and that there's enough of demand that you can make a very good living from this if you choose a product that has the right profitability. And we take everyone through these steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when Amy and I first started talking and we went through this, we realized if we just take someone to Canton Fair and they start doing the same system they thought was going to work, they'll save some money. They'll save a lot of money, frankly. But they're not going to really have a business that they can live from and retire from. And that's what we want to give people. And so we put together a 2-month training to reset, people's baseline of what their expectations are so that they can start talking about profits, not sales. You won't hear people in our group saying they're a 6-figure seller or an 8-figure seller. You can hear people in our group talking about profits and cash flow and business plans, because this really is a business.
Some of
the talking, I won't shut up.
Some of the newbies out there, they just don't understand the difference, and I really want to get it out there that there's a huge difference between what your sales revenue is, what your profits are, or even what your takings are from the business, and that is a huge difference.
And you are so right, Calli, and it's not their fault. There are just so many people on YouTube who are purposely trying to confuse them.
Yeah.
And it's just not fair.
So the guy with the Lambo is talking about having an 8-figure business, and all of a sudden people are trying to work out how many zeros that is and how much of that is going into their account, and they just automatically assume that is money in somebody's account. Apart from the fact that a lot of those figures aren't even true in most cases.
And let me just say, there's nothing wrong with dreaming big.
Absolutely.
We want you to dream big.
Absolutely.
We want you to think big. And that's why we're starting this course that is teaching you to have a scalable business, right?
Absolutely.
What does that mean? That means you have to have a product that you can sell beyond one channel and that can actually make you profits. So when I'm talking to Amazon sellers, and what the first thing I do when I take on a new client is I say, all right, let's break down your costs. Let's see how much your shipping costs you. Let's see how much your Amazon fees are. Let's figure in your advertising, all of that. And Calli, it's sad to say, but 90% of the time they're actually losing money and they have no idea. And there's nothing wrong with, I'm so proud of people just for getting out there and putting a product out there.
And learning from it.
Nothing wrong with that.
There are people out there that spend $50,000 on courses, business courses that teach them nothing. I know business courses here in Australia where you'll go to the offices and they're hiring, and the person that they're hiring in there, they want them to know about Facebook advertising and Instagram and all sorts of things like that. And then you go to their business courses and you look at the curriculum, and there is nothing in there about Facebook advertising. There is nothing in there about social media. There is nothing in there about how to create a business. So essentially, when you're paying $5,000 and you lose it in a business venture, it's education. But at the same time, you don't want that to keep on happening forever and ever, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're losing your mortgage, your house, all sorts of things like that.
So our goal is to start people with a plan, with a product that they can So a big thing that we talk about that a lot of people don't talk about in this business is validation. We focus on validation. It's on the back of our t-shirts. It's important because we want you to make an investment in a product that you know ahead of time is going to make you money. You have validated ahead of time that it meets a need in the marketplace and people will actually want to buy it.
Baptist is asking what the day rental is for a Lamborghini. And Annie Jepson and Meg are saying hi.
Hello.
Hi, guys. Sorry for the interruption.
You tell Baptiste
that I just really had to talk about that daily rental, because yes, that's what.
Yes, I love it. So, I would love for you to rent the Lambo, and then we'll just, we'll make an awesome Facebook ad, right? But there's nothing wrong with the dream. There's nothing wrong with thinking big. In fact, we want you to think big. And when we teach you how to actually break down the costs, the next thing that we teach you is what you need to know. You'll know when you choose your products and you validate them, you'll know what you can sell them at, and you'll know what you need to buy them at to make money. We will teach you how to do that, so that way, not only can you sell on Amazon and have plenty of margin for advertising or anything else you want to do to really build your brand up, but also when it's time to scale beyond Amazon to the other 96% of retail, and it's not just brick and mortar, it's catalogs, it's as seen on TV, it's, QVC, it's independent retailers, all the mom and pop shops. They have to buy from someone, and they can buy from you. And let me tell you, Calli, when I invented my product, retail was a mystery to me. Mm-hmm. I was like, how do I get I invented this and it meets a need. How do I get it into retail? Mm-hmm. And then I meet Steven, who's just like, well, it's really easy. I'm going to show you. And I'm like, what? So I was actually, and now I'm backtracking on everything, because we actually teach you how to do your packaging correctly so that you can actually, go beyond Amazon. We teach you everything you need to know, logistics, shipping, all of the things. We remove the mystery of scaling. And so it's just incredible. If I would have had this information before, now I'm backtracking. Now I'm redesigning my packaging. I'm redesigning my product so it fits on a shelf. I'm going through all of that. And if I had this course ahead of time, I could have saved myself, not just like a little bit of money, but a lot of money. I mean, our participants that went with us, they all, we talk about a 7x multiplier. And what does that mean? That's the retail standard, guys. And the reason it's a retail standard is because a retailer is going to want to mark up your price from whatever you sell it at. So if you sell it for $20, they're going to want to buy it from you for $10. Mm-hmm. And if you sourced it at $9, you got problems, mm-hmm. right? You don't have margin to scale your business. That's why when you watch Shark Tank, right, you see they ask them their numbers. And if they don't have enough margin, they're like, no deal. I can't scale with you. I can't make millions from you. But if you do have those margins, they're real interested because they know they can make millions from you. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're teaching you. We're teaching you how to have a profitable margin so that you can scale beyond Amazon. And there's nothing wrong with selling commodity products. There are I know plenty of 7-figure Amazon sellers, 8-figure Amazon sellers that sell those types of products. The difference is that when you sell those types of products with small margins, it's a very large scale game. So you got to have 700 SKUs, and
or even if you don't, you're essentially making $10 million a year, but you're taking home a couple of 100,000, which if you wanted to do that, you could have found a pretty good corporate job and just and not worry.
And I can't even imagine.
Amy found someone on Reddit, and she posted it in her group, who makes $7 million in sales a year and brings home $47,000. Yeah, I'm here in Seattle. I will tell you right now that the supervisor at the Amazon warehouse is making a lot more than $47,000. In fact, they're making a minimum of $60,000 US dollars, not Australian dollars.
Yeah.
So we're teaching you
so
instead
the
to have
people who are
one.
lifting up your cartons are making more money than the people who are sending in the cartons.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, it's people don't understand those kinds of issues, and they do get sucked in by some of those big numbers. We had a chat, Amy, and I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna let you answer it from your point of view. So I'm platform agnostic as well, but I do believe that Amazon is one of the fastest growing platforms. It's one of those things where you
Absolutely
put the right product on, and it's easier to do once you know what you're doing and you've got all your ducks in a row. It's easier to be sourcing 20 products and just working with those 20 SKUs than what it is with having thousands of products in a warehouse and trying to find what to pick and pack and all sorts of things like that. The logistics are just a lot easier and faster to scale. At the same time, though, Amazon does require data, and we said that is absolutely not the only parameter, but data is important. What kind of data are we looking at? Are we looking at what people are searching? Are we looking at what people are buying? Are we looking at how much in margins they're making? What's more important out of that data that we can get from Amazon, which amazingly is the most data that you can get from any platform. I don't know another platform. You can't go to Google and get this much data as to what people are doing on the platform.
So this is interesting. I'm going to let Amy go into detail. I'm going to answer quickly just because my phone just gave me an alert that it's running down on juice in case you lose me. But as Amy goes into this and talks about the data, realize that the data you were looking for on Amazon is historical data, not predictive data. So you're looking at how many cell phone dash holders that people had bought over the last week, month, multiple months, and going backwards. When we put together validation, we look at what people are going to buy going forwards. So when you look at that historical data, and 1,000 other people are looking at it as well, everyone's saying, wow, this is great. You go out, you source it, you ship it in, you put it online, and when it's online, suddenly you're in a saturated market because everybody looked at the same historical data and jumped on it. And the difference for us is we teach you through 14 different methods, including the ones that Dropbox used, how to do predictive data. No one else is doing it. I'll let Amy talk about it a little bit, but I'm going to let you know a lot of that is proprietary just because we've put this together from so many different sources. Eric Rees, Tim Ferriss, Dropbox, and their white papers, and so on. But we look forward rather than looking backwards. I'll be quiet. I'll let you talk, Amy.
So, I mean, honestly, that, Calli, is when you look at Amazon from a data perspective, that's the problem. The problem when you're looking at how many of something sold is that you're not thinking about the needs in the marketplace that are unmet, that you can fill. The things people are looking for that you can sell to them. You're not looking at that. You're thinking, and this is the hardest thing for us to break people of because they have learned this over and over and over again. Oh, I just need to look at this data. No, you need to look at the needs in the marketplace and fill that with products. That's what you need to do. You don't need to look at products and source more of the same products. People are already buying those. So I know that
you still need to have people searching for what it is that you're making.
Yes.
You can't.
That's true. That's true. But you don't need Amazon. But you don't need Amazon specific data for that. Now, That being said, Calli, like I said, I'm a data nerd and I love data. So we definitely cover Amazon data. In fact, I have a module in our course training where I teach our folks, after they've done our validation methods, to actually go through and predict their profits. And this helps them prioritize their list of products. And that's where you can use the data. You can use the data by going, okay, I have this great idea. Are people searching for this keyword that I'm going to be selling under? Are people looking for this? You know, what is the trend, right? And what is the space? So I love using data for that. What I don't like, because I've seen so many people lose thousands of dollars doing this and completely lose their entire investment, is when you're going out there and you're using product research software to try and find a good product idea. That's not a good way to find a good product idea. And the thing is, Steven says, yes, it's proprietary, but it's not proprietary in the fact that we're teaching you the same methods that every successful brand that's out there has used to bring unique products to the market.
Very true. Yeah.
So that's
and I'll give you a great example of data compared to what we do. The Rio MP3 player. And most people don't remember the Rio anymore. It was small. It was kind of cute. The Rio MP3 player, and they even had an armband for it, sold really, really well. After the Walkman, this changed the entire environment of how you listen to music. Everyone loved the Rio MP3 player. You could download your MP3s off of Napster, if you remember all the way back there. Yeah. And everything was great. Apple came along and looked at the Rio and said, we want to get into this market because everyone is buying an MP3 player. But they didn't try to make Rio version 2 or an Apple branded version of Rio. They took the idea of everyone wants an MP3 player, that there's a need in the market for an MP3 player. And with the help of Jack Trout, who's one of the people who we constantly quote, he's passed away a year ago, they went out and they differentiated. They actually went through the validation process. They went through talking to focus groups. They talked to design engineers. And of course, they had Steve Jobs. And they looked at this and they said, we know there's a need. What is not being met? How can we do this easier, simpler, more elegant? And they put together a design of the iPod. They didn't invent an MP3 player. Rio had already done that. They just put together a method that made it easier for people to skip through songs, and they had the one button navigation and everything that everybody wanted. They put it in and differentiated itself, and they invented the iPod. So it's not a case of going out there and putting your own logo on the Rio MP3 player. It's a case of going out there and saying, the MP3 player, we've got all this data, we know, I mean, we see how much it's selling. And in retail, you can do the same thing. There's all sorts of ways of getting data other than Amazon. And I'll let you know right now, when you think Amazon has data, you have no idea what type of reading. Oh, there's so much fun data you can get in retail. But the idea is to take that data and use it as a launching pad to bring in something that's innovative, because innovation is what sells. And then to touch on that data for one moment. So everyone in America knows about the Nielsen's because they do TV ratings. What they don't realize is that every time a product passes by that scanner and it goes beep in the store, Nielsen is collecting all of that data. So not only do they know what the product is, how fast it's selling, what time of the day it's selling, what checkout lane in that supermarket is it selling? Does it selling closer to the door or further away, or the pet store or whatever? The Amazon people wonder, how much inventory should I have for Christmas time? Nielsen for retail will actually tell you, based on all sorts of major, what they call big data, all this major analysis, they will tell you how much you need for
how much
Christmas.
is going to actually sell.
Yeah. So it is, it's unbelievable the amount of data. These tools like Jungle Scout or Unicorn Smasher, they're great because if you've never seen data, you think this is fabulous. Look at all this stuff that they're telling me. But once you get into retail, there are companies, Nielsen and others, that provide data that will absolutely blow you away. But coming back to it, as Amy said, we're using data. We're using data when we validate. We use data as a launching pad to how you can do something better. I was talking about pets. We use data, and for pets, I can tell you right now that 52% of pet owners in the United States have the dog sleep on the human bed. I can tell you what the demographics are of the person that buys treats for their dog. I can tell you the demographics of the person that buys toys for their dog, month by month by month. In fact, the American Pet Products Association prints out a book that is literally 2 inches thick with this dark red cover on it. So we love data.
Huh?
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. And because it's the American Pet Association, they have everything from dogs to rabbits to birds to exotic turtles. But it is just, there's lots of data. And I like the fact that you're asking about data because
Awesome.
she's a wonk. I used to work at Microsoft.
And there's nothing wrong. We want to say we love Amazon. We absolutely love Amazon. We don't want to, we're not trying to say that we don't want you to launch a product on Amazon or we don't prepare you for
Amazon. I noticed in your group, I'm a very recent member, less than 24 hours, I think. And I noticed I did a flick through on my phone and it was like Amazon question.
Yeah.
So you do focus a lot on Amazon. That's where your client base is, and that's where your target audience is. So let's talk about these people that, whether or not they're on Amazon, want to source a product. I want to go into the specifics of what it is that you're doing. And I think there's some time frames that you want to talk about as well. You're pretty much starting soon with one of your 2-month courses, and how does that go, and what does that do?
So Amy, I'm going to jump in real fast, let you know I'm down to 1%. So folks, if I disappear, thank you for listening to me. But just want to give that out there so that Amy can start talking.
Awesome.
Yeah, before we lose Steven, thank you, Steven, for signing in. Okay, so our course starts in August.
Mm-hmm.
We realize, and let's just talk about Canton Fair for a minute, because I know when Steven was posting about Canton Fair, I didn't even know what it was. I was sourcing from China, but I was sourcing online. I didn't know, So let's just talk about what is Canton Fair.
Yeah.
Canton Fair is an import-export exhibition. It's the largest in the world. It happens twice a year. It happens in April and October. There are 3 phases. So you can go for one or all 3 phases. Phase 1 is electronic products. Phase 2 is what most people who are Amazon sellers or in the retail market go for. And that is like gifts, housewares, pet stuff, that kind of stuff. And then phase 3 is medical devices, clothing, textiles, and sporting goods. So there's 3 different phases, and each phase lasts about a week. And during each phase, there are 60,000 different manufacturers and suppliers, okay? 60,000. If you had to walk Canton Fair, and we did, if you had to walk it, it's 217 American football fields worth of ground that you're covering, okay? So just massive. In terms of that. Now, some say Iwu is bigger. Iwu is, as far as like actual square footage, right? But it's a different type of, it's not necessarily manufacturers, it's like trading companies.
Exactly.
So a different market, right? Mm-hmm. So what we're focused on at Canton is meeting with manufacturers. There are some trading companies there as well. But there's 60,000 booths, right? And you will see things at Canton that you will never see on Alibaba. And this was the thing. I was searching for specific pet products that I had learned this would be perfect to launch. There's a need for it in the marketplace. I was looking for it everywhere in China, could not find it, couldn't find it anywhere. And I go to Canton and I find it in like 3 or 4 booths. And I go in and I ask the manufacturer, where are you exporting this to? What is going on? And they're telling me, oh yeah, we're selling it in Europe. Well, not selling it, but we're exporting it to Europe and Japan. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not in the US. That's why I can't find competitors with this product. And that's why I haven't been able to source it before now. And remember, there's 60,000 booths. So these manufacturers are actually bringing their most innovative and unique things to the market because they want you to come in their booth. There's 60,000 of them. You know, how are they going to get you to come in if they don't put something cool and innovative out there? So we're going to prepare you to go to Canton Fair with a list of validated products that you want to source, but you're going to see a ton of stuff there that you've probably been looking for a long time and haven't been able to find a source for, right? And B, you know, you've never seen before, and C, that you can deal directly with a manufacturer for instead of wondering if it's a trading company, right? So we don't just want you to go to Canton totally unprepared. There's other China trips out there. You can meet them in Canton. There's plenty of other China trips out there, right? But we don't do business like that. We want to prepare you so that when you go to Canton, you know how to talk to suppliers. You know how to talk to manufacturers. You know how the number one skill you need to have is negotiation. You need to understand how Chinese culture works. You need to understand how to negotiate so that you can get that 7x multiplier that we are training you to get. So in order to train you, we start in August. Okay, so we're about to go to the October Canton Fair. Our course starts in August. And we take you for 2 months. We have 3 webinars a week. And these webinars are really just videos that you can watch at your leisure. And then every week on top of those 3 videos, we get on basically a coaching call with you and we directly mentor you. So that way, if you have questions, we follow up on your homework. We try to hold you accountable, right? We want you to learn these things. So we follow up on your homework. We make sure you don't have any questions. We also have live interviews with experts. And when I talk about experts, these are not people you'll see on YouTube. These are people you're going to see in Forbes magazine, that you're going to see on TV. These are major experts. We went after the biggest experts in the retail industry and we got them. So you are going to meet people in our course that you would spend thousands of dollars to even have an hour with. So it is just incredible. So we're spending 2 months with you and we are taking you through this process, right? It's cumulative. We're starting with how do you come up with these ideas? Then we take you through how do you validate that it's a good idea and narrow down your list, right? Then we take you through the whole process of, okay, now I got a list of ideas. What the heck do I do with them? How do I figure out what my cost needs to be? How do I figure out what my pricing needs to be? How do I do all that? So then we have a series of courses to take you through that so that you can prepare to get moving on it, right? Then we teach you about manufacturing. We teach you about logistics. We teach you about shipping. As Calli was saying earlier, she was saying, you know, the pick and pack, I don't want to deal with that. That's why we love Amazon. Well, guess what? If you sell wholesale to retailers, there's a ton of what's called 3PLs. That's third-party logistics. You're not pick and packing anything. You're selling large orders, pallets at a time, you know, but we're preparing you to start on Amazon. Amazon is a great proving ground. So that is what we're preparing you to do. During those 2 months, we're preparing you to come up with these unique ideas. And we don't just invent products, okay? There are lots of things that you can do to enhance products. You can put a unique bundle together. We teach you different ways where you can kind of, like Steven said, I put a message on a pillowcase and it's sold like mad. We're going to teach you that process.
Invent the pillowcase.
Yeah, exactly. We're not inventing the pillowcase. We're just putting a cool message on it, right? So we do that with you for 2 months. We give you all of the experts. We teach you how to do the logistics, prototyping. If you have to prototype, we have a 3D CAD guy that comes in and talks to you about that, about what that looks like and how would you go about that. But we also want to prepare you for doing it with your manufacturer, right? Because you might want to make a change and you might want to enhance a product if you want it to sell well. So we want to prepare you for that. We talk about negotiation ahead of time. We talk about inspections, factory audits. Most importantly, in China, we're talking about sourcing from China. We talk about protecting your supply chain because that's all you have. That's one of the biggest fears. People are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to come up with this unique product and China's just going to knock it off, right? Well, that's what we teach you to deal with. We have a Chinese attorney on our team that actually talks to you and teaches you, okay, you can follow the laws in China, and that is going to help you out. Because let me tell you, my NNN that I use with my suppliers, we had a factory that Steven and I went to, they refused to sign it because they knew how legit it was. And they were like, no, we need to make some changes to this. We're not signing this. So we definitely take this very seriously, and we prepare you to be successful. We teach you how to do the 7x multiplier. And let me tell you, the funny thing is I've heard so many people tell me that's BS. You'll never get a 7x multiplier in China. That's crazy. Every single one of our participants got 7 to 10x. Every single one of them. So the techniques that we're teaching you are going to prepare you for that. Steven is a master negotiator. He's really good. And you're going to learn that firsthand. So then we meet you in China, right? So we do that for 2 months. And then you meet us in China. And before we even go to Canton, we do this cool ceremony and product reveal. So we do a tea ceremony, a traditional tea ceremony. We want you to get into the culture of China. We take you on a Pearl River cruise. We are fun too. We're not all business, but we take you on a Pearl River cruise. We have a good time. And then Steven and I do a product reveal. We actually come up with a product alongside of our students. And then when they get to Canton, when they get to China, we reveal all the steps we went through from start to finish. And what that does is that gives them a review of everything they've been through in the course. And it helps them go, oh, that's how I validated that. Oh yeah, that needs to be my cost. All right. It gets their mindset so that they're ready to go, right? The next day, which is the day before Canton, we take them on a factory tour. We take them to 2 different factories, and we actually, and these are big factories. These are factories that actually produce products.
It's got to be cool.
Oh, it's so cool. So why do we take you to a factory, right? Why do we take you to a factory? Because what most people don't know is negotiation is not done at Canton.
Yeah.
The price you get at Canton has nothing to do with negotiation, right? I mean, you're getting a little bit of a price, and you might talk to them about enhancements and design options and things like that, but that's not a price. The person you're talking to at Canton is somebody who speaks good English that they hired to work that week.
Yeah.
That is not the factory owner and the person that you need to be talking to in order to make a deal, right? So that's why we take you on a factory tour, because we want you to do this business for real. So we take you on a factory tour. We show you, what does the factory tour look like? We have lunch with the factory owners and the staff, and we go to their showrooms, everything that you would experience with a factory tour on your own, we take you to do with us. We want you to see how molds work. We want you to see how molds are made. We want you to see how manufacturing works, how packaging works, how a line works. And most importantly, what should you be looking for? When you're walking through a factory, what questions might you have? So we want to give you the confidence to request a factory tour when you go to Canton. So that's why we take you. And then the next week, we actually go to Canton with you. We hold your hand the first couple of days. You're prepared. You have a workbook. It has all the questions you need to ask. You know exactly, you've had courses before this. You know exactly what you should be asking. You know exactly, but you're still probably a little shy about it. This is like a big, the Vulcan mind meld kind of thing that we're doing with you. So we get that. And so what Steven does, which is really cool, is he does one-on-one negotiation sessions. And when we call them negotiation sessions, we just mentioned negotiation doesn't necessarily happen at Canton, but there's a lot of important first impressions that do happen at Canton and questions that need to be asked. So Steven will take them one-on-one into just random booths and he will let them watch and record if they want to, whatever. And then they learn firsthand how to do this, right? And so it's really a neat experience for them. We had some Australians that came with us that had been selling on Amazon for years, had been to Canton before, and they used the tips that Steven gave them to actually go to their original factory and get 30% off their price.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it does work, people. Like, we're not just selling we really do care about this, and we really are passionate, and we really are teaching you things out of experience. We didn't go copy another course. We came up with this course based on experience and based on our knowledge of what you need to know to be successful, to grow a scalable brand that you can actually retire from. If you check out our website, that's what you're going to see, that our goal for you is to be able to leave your job and retire within 2 years to do this for real. That is our goal for you, to make real money in this business, right? So that is what we've set you up to do. That is what our goal for you is. So yeah, you can stay at Canton with us after the fair every day. We come back to the hotel and we actually provide beautiful paid dinners, and we invite experts and we just let you ask them questions. So we have a Chinese attorney to dinner. We have the inspection companies that we trust, right? Because there's a ton of inspection companies when you go to Canton. They're just all over the place. So we have vetted professionals that we trust. Most of them you've met before in webinars, and they meet us again in China. So you just get to ask. Because when you're out there and you're dealing with suppliers and stuff all day, you get to come to dinner with a Chinese attorney and go, oh, wait, I didn't think about this. Like, when should I show them my designs? You know, you're going to be thinking of things like that, and you're going to have these questions. So we provide experts for you. We pay for your dinners. And we definitely, want you to have this unique experience. And it was so cool, Calli. We had a private, this hotel has been wonderful to us, and we have private rooms every evening in the Western buffet. And the people that are there for Canton, it's a popular Canton hotel, and they're just like, who are you guys? What are you doing?
What are the VIPs doing here?
What are these people doing? So we're just, oh my gosh. And the other cool thing that I wish I could just bottle it up and sell it is the relationships that are made. Our folks work together for 2 months before they go to the fair. And so when they meet each other for the first time in China, they're hugging. They were like, oh my gosh, it's great to meet you finally. And they're sourcing across the fair together. Everybody signs NDAs. So of course, they share their products, and, toward the end of the course, they share their products and stuff. And they're in a WeChat session, like across the fair, like, hey, come over here. You got to check this out. So it was so cool to see them just lifting each other up. And then last but not least, Calli, we have so you're put in a private Facebook group to watch all these webinars and everything, and to network. Well, at the end of Canton Fair, you've come back and you have this huge list of suppliers, and you're like, okay, what the heck do I do now? Right? Yeah. You're in that private group for all of your life, however long you want to be in it, and it's free of charge. So we've created this family, this support network for you, and that is your family and your support network for as long as you need them. And they love it. I mean, they're like family. When we left China, they were like, we miss you guys already. And so each other, they really missed each other as well.
I'm just getting Maxine Stevenson saying the whole experience was amazing. Maxine, sounds like you went and you had a great time.
Yes, we loved having Maxine. Maxine was a newer to the Amazon kind of community. So we loved that we could help kind of set her up with a solid foundation, so excited to, yeah.
Sounds amazing.
I know that was a lot.
I'm trying to think what you haven't covered, and I think you've just blown us all away. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to ask any questions. If we do see some, we'll answer them live. Otherwise, both Amy and I will be monitoring this thread later, and we can answer by typing our comments. But in the meantime, if you want something live, please do go in the next 5 minutes and ask us some questions. So in 5 minutes, what do you think the most important thing to share with people is when it comes to what your plans are between August and October this year?
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing is, if you are either looking to start a business in retail, or you are looking to move your business model to a more scalable approach, really consider this opportunity. We want you to shop around. We want you to really, this is serious to us. You know, we put a lot, we really care about the success of the folks in our program. And we do this because we absolutely are just passionate about business. And so if you're one of those people that's like, man, you know, I've had this idea forever that I really want to figure out how to get from A to Z, or I really just want to kind of change the way I'm doing things and, you know, and kind of learn how to do this right way, then really consider this. We don't have a lot of time, right, before August starts. So definitely take the time to consider it. And take a look at what we're offering, take a look at what we're teaching. The curriculum's all on the website, and reach out to us if you have any questions. We're not going to put you through a funnel. We are going to talk to you. So, you know, reach out to us.
It's not a course and it's not a sourcing trip. It's a combination of both. And one kind of supports the other. And that's essentially something that you do differently to what anybody else does today, because there are sourcing trips to China.
Yeah.
There are courses that teach you how to source from China. You've kind of put the whole thing together in one package, and it sounds like people are having a great time, and at the same time learning a lot from it that they can actually use.
And maybe we can cover one last thing. I know right now people are considering sourcing from other places, and that's okay. We actually have.
Well, I wanted to ask about the tariffs. Yes, I totally forgot that part. And there's nothing wrong with sourcing from Australia, the USA, India, or Pakistan. What is the difference from sourcing from China? What has actually happened now to make that more expensive?
Yeah, so we know that there's been some tariffs, right? And so a lot of people are, you know, I was just checking Google keywords the other day, and I'm a data nerd, and there was a ton of searches for sourcing from India. It's very huge right now. You know, Megla's got a trip going on coming up here. And so, you know, it's a big thing. People are considering sourcing other places. We did a podcast on tariffs where we talked to a licensed customs broker and just kind of talked about that. But the bottom line is, I want to just cover this, right? Because we're teaching you to source at margins that are large enough for you to have space for increase, right? So, and as you mentioned before we got on, you know, China is still a really affordable place to source from. And I'm not discouraging you from going other places. If there is a product that you want to bring to market that is the main export of another country, well, you should probably check that out, right? So we actually have a lady who's coming with us this time, and she is having her product manufactured in the United States. And the reason you're thinking, why would she come on a China thing, right? Well, because we are teaching you how to actually get a product manufactured. We're teaching you about design. We're teaching you about, we're teaching you the whole business structure.
Not necessarily the country. Yeah.
Yes. And now when she goes to China and she goes on a factory tour and she meets all of these suppliers and she sees everything, how well do you think she's going to be prepared to come back to the United States and source the heck out of her product and talk to manufacturers and be prepared to do that? I just want to stress that we are preparing you not just to source from China. We are preparing you to develop a sustainable business. So that is what it's all about.
It's about really the business skills that you need to get to the point to put the product out there. Exactly. That's amazing. That's amazing information. I think you've explained everything so well to everybody, including myself, that nobody's actually asking any questions. So All right, where should people go? I've put a link somewhere. Where should people go? What should people look for? You've got a group that you're admin of. You've got you've got the website where people can sign up, and we've also got an offer today. Tell me about that.
So Calli has arranged for everyone to save $100 off their ticket price. And oh, by the way, right now we're running a 15% off deal. So definitely get out there. And we also offer credit and flexible payment plans. So we realize that it's a large commitment, right? So we have that out there for you. And using code Calli100, all caps, CALLI 100, you can save on that, and make sure you use Calli's link below to do that. And yeah, so we're excited to have you guys. Definitely come, and if you want some Amazon nerdy data skills, definitely come visit us in Amazing at Home. That's my entrepreneurs networking group. We're a tight-knit group there. We support each other, and we have a large Australian presence, and we love them. They're amazing.
Yeah, I noticed that. I learned about you from other Aussies in my group, so it sounds like you've made a good following there. It sounds like Aussies love you, and anybody who's getting ready to do some Amazon business. No, we don't have anything else. I was just checking.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave something unanswered. Amazing. All right. Well, closing, before we close, any closing statements?
Just thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for, allowing me to be here and inviting us on. Definitely look forward to seeing you guys and what you do in the future. And please, I look forward to seeing you in China.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. So there's a link in the page. Click on it. Check it out. If you have been looking to do a sourcing trip, this is not just any sourcing trip. It is. It comes with a lot of support, and Amy has just blown me away when it comes to how she and Steven, obviously, because I think that Steven is your data guy. Well, thank you very, very much, everybody, and we'll see you again. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. That was great. We're still recording,
yeah.
but